look at the Department of Transportation's Freight Logistics Optimization Works, or FLOW. My guest is Andrew Petrisin. He is a supply chain advisor with the U.S. Department of Transportation, or DOT. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, good afternoon.
Thanks for being with me today. So, FLOW, F-L-O-W, once again, Freight Logistics Optimization Works. What is that?
So FLOW is a public-private partnership amongst the federal government and the industry, or what we would call at USDOT a data trust. So a data trust program is where the department will serve as an independent steward to facilitate information exchange where there may otherwise be friction for a shared common goal with industry. In this case, in FLOW, we're doing this in supply chain. So the department is intaking and aggregating incoming containers, so purchase orders from BCOs, bookings from ocean carriers and NVOCCs against regional capacity, so available container slots, available tractors, available chassis, aggregating that information and providing it in a common view for industry to be able to use to commercialize and inform their own modeling exercises.
Did any such instrument within DOT exist prior to this?
There are similar instruments at the department that haven't been, I'd say, implemented in a supply chain context. Within the aviation world, this has been going on for a couple decades now with the air carriers, looking to optimize the national airspace system on a fully voluntary basis, just like FLOW. There are also similar safety initiatives working with the oil and gas industry, the transit industries, who share sensitive information around safety programs for the department, through a data trust construct.
Mm-hmm. How about the willingness of industry to participate and to give you the necessary data? Is there any issue there, or is everybody on board?
That's a great question. There's a few, I'd say, focus areas we have there. And the first I would mention is the data privacy laws that the federal government has. So when we collect data through data trust programs, it is under SIPC at the Bureau of Transportation Statistics. Mm-hmm. This means the data cannot be FOIA'd. It's not subject to subpoena or legal discovery. So there's a kind of data privacy aspect of it that's legal, that is really critical, as well as just ongoing trust building that happens over time. Mm-hmm. So we feel like we've established a good trust with our initial industry partners and look forward to continuing to grow that amongst the industry.
So the data flows into a common data receptacle, and so the proprietary nature of it with each carrier or shipper is not an issue. It doesn't come out, identified specifically with them.
Correct. So the data when released is aggregated and not directly or indirectly identifiable to a particular carrier. Correct.
All modes of transportation, or what specifically? I know you mentioned ocean. Is it all modes?
So we're starting mostly with, import ocean containers. Mm-hmm. There's been asks for us to continue to expand into domestic and even bulk. But right now we're primarily focused on getting this first part right and scoping this appropriately. Mm-hmm. So looking at, import containers and then looking at probably exports next on the ocean side.
What was the genesis of this, and how did you see it as being different from previous supply chain data initiatives?
Yes, the genesis of this actually started with the White House Supply Chain Disruption Task Force, which I've had the pleasure of being a part of since fall of 2021. Mm-hmm. When we were looking at the congestion on the West Coast, what we were looking for was not where's a particular container. We're trying to understand kind of situational context, fluidity, right, throughout the supply chain, from inbound containers to warehouse availability, and they really kind of lacked that information. We lacked that information at the federal government, and we found that the industry kind of lacked a common situational awareness, right? So each participant has visibility into their network, right, and their trading partners and their contracted movers of goods. But didn't have visibility kind of what I'd call horizontally, right? So as the industry continues to vertically integrate, right, from a data standpoint, we're looking to kind of provide a horizontal buoy, if you will, as a non-competitive partner for kind of a common situational awareness.
How does the DOT view, from a larger perspective, how does it view its role in supply chain?
That's a great question. So obviously we're not kind of owners or operators in this space, right? So I don't own a truck fleet nor operate a truck fleet. But I do think the data trust role is actually one that's quite unique and that we can bring to the table through the data privacy laws that I mentioned earlier, our convening authority, which is something that is kind of a soft power, if you will, right, of being able to get all the folks to the table, from large warehouse owners and operators to ocean carriers to motor carriers, right, to the IEPs. And I think actually creating a kind of uniquely cooperative and, dare I say, kind of collaborative culture within an industry that I think could at times be adversarial with each other.
For sure, yeah. So where do you see Flow going next? You talked about these and maybe some initial efforts. What's the direction it's taking, and ultimately what form do you expect it to take?
So in the immediate future, we're working with an initial set of partners on the industry side to begin to build the Flow data into their own analytical tools, right, which is a really important milestone for us, moving from the kind of initial data collection and dissemination, and then from there looking to expand, right? So whether that's geographically or whether that is through additional modes of transport, that's where we want to go, and we want to see this be around for a long time, just like other data trust programs at the department.
So ultimately, you do expect like trucking, rail, air, even barge, all that expected, that you want data from all those modes to flow into Flow.
Correct, and I'd say even right now, drayage trucking, over the road, warehousing participants are all participating now, just within the international intermodal context.
Yeah. Shippers also are participating in this effort?
Correct. Shippers are participating as well. Some of the largest in the country, from Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Nike, IKEA, Samsung, all participating, sharing purchase orders with the department on a fully voluntary basis to, again, better understand and have a common situational awareness within the supply chain.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Andrew, for explaining to us the role of Flow in the U.S. DOT. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
I've been speaking with Andrew Petrisin of the U.S. Department of Transportation. Thank you very much for watching.